Good afternoon, admin. I came across learning mastery grades and learning outcomes by chance this morning when I was looking for some documentation to help our teachers with Canvas. And I believe this would be a very good method for us to progress monitor students and to give us data that goes beyond just completion data or on track data. This will actually give us numerical data as to whether or not they're mastering assignments based on a set mastery level. So this is our grade book, and as you can see, there are just the grades out of whatever. So in this case, 12 out of 20, 15 out of 20. It really doesn't tell you any information. It just tells you that this is a 75% and this is about a 70%. And that's about all that tells you. So if we go into learning mastery, and learning mastery is something that we have in Canvas, we just have to turn it on in the courses we want to use. If we look at this, what this is telling us instead is whether or not the students meeting or exceeding mastery, how they're doing mastering whatever the assignment is. In this case, the mastery level was set at about a 70%, so I set it at 13 points for both of these because they were both out of 20, and you can see their grade is, in this case, I received a 15. I earned a 15 out of the mastery of 30, so we've got our light green, which is meets mastery, so I mastered that. On the other hand, this 12 for 13, which was actually a 12 out of 20, is below mastery, so I'm near mastery. If we look down here at Anthony, he got a 5 out of 13 or a 5 out of 20, and that's well below mastery, whereas his 20 exceeds mastery. So we can actually see who is mastering the assignments based on a given set score. I think that would help us out immensely in two ways. The first way would be if we notice that a student is continually near mastery or well below mastery, that can encourage the teacher to have more contact with that particular student and find out what their needs actually are. We can literally progress monitor them and see if we need to put in some tier 2 support. What it can also allow us to do is, say we've got 30 students and every one of them ended up with this near mastery, so they got 12. It's still passing. This 12 is still a passing grade, but I would not consider a 65, 66%. I wouldn't consider that mastery of the assignment. So if we had 20 students that are all below mastery, even though they are passing, we could set up live lessons that would go through the material that was in that particular assignment and encourage those students to go to that assignment. So when they see the material later in a module test or an end of term exam, then they would have that material. They would have that mastery of the material from that particular section. In order to do this, I would need a little bit of support either from the teachers or some time myself so that I could get it all set up. I'm going to show you what is needed in order to do this. It's as simple as having rubrics, and all of our Canvas teachers are supposed to have rubrics in all of their assignments as is. So I'm going to pause and go on to the next level, and then we'll be back in a second. Okay, to create an outcome, we simply click on Outcomes over on the side, and then we're going to add an outcome. I would recommend that every single one of our assignments have an outcome that corresponds with it. That way, we will have as much data as possible to track the students. And for building an outcome, we just click Outcome. We name it, and I'm pretty easy. I'm not worried about a friendly name or a description because we just need to know that particular outcome. So, in fact, I would name it whatever the particular assignment is. We go down here, and I know the outcome I want is 50 points. So I would say exceeds expectations is going to be 50. Meets expectations, we're going to do 35. I don't have that calculated out in my head. And then does not meet expectations is going to be 0. So mastery is going to be held at 35. Now you can change this as well. If meets expectations isn't considered mastery, say you want them to perform a little bit better than just meeting the expectations, then you can always change that number to higher or lower. It's up to you. For the calculation method, I think we should use the highest score. That way, whatever they perform best on is going to be their score. That's the score that's kept in Canvas as is. That's the way we set it up. And then we click Save. Now, we've got it created successfully. So let's go to an assignment and put this in, and I'll show you how to do that in 1 second. Okay, so here is my 50-point assignment that I had. It's already got a rubric in it, so we don't have to create a new rubric. With all of our teachers in Canvas, they should all have rubrics that are lined up in their courses as is. So all they would have to do is go to that. We're going to find an outcome. I know that the outcome is whatever it is. This is why I would recommend naming the outcomes after the assignments themselves. And then we're going to import. And then we're going to click OK. And that's it. That outcome's set. So our outcome is all set in there. Sorry about that little mess up. I actually put the wrong outcome in. It's now fixed. So we've got 50 points here is our total and 50 points up here. We're going to update the rubric. And now we're set. So what happens is we go into the assignment and go to SpeedGrader. And we obviously don't have any assignments, but we're still going to use the rubric anyway. So we'll view rubric. And in this case, Anthony is going to, oh, this is me. I am going to score a 34. And that goes in the rubric part. And then you would total up the total number of points that they earned. And you'll put it in for the outcome score. Then we're going to save that and submit. I'm going to pause this because I'm going to do Anthony's real quick, and then we're going to go back and check this out in our gradebook. Okay, so we're back in our grades. This would be our normal gradebook over here. We went into Learning Mastery, and you can see this is our new outcome. I earned a 34 out of the mastery of 35, so I'm near mastery. Anthony, on the other hand, earned a 45 out of 35, and his is meets mastery. So we've got these nice data points to show what our students are actually doing mastery-wise in the performance. And you can see it's a fairly quick process. We could get this all taken care of and done. If not for this year's courses, then possibly for next year's courses, get it done in the summer. And we might have some very good data that we could use with this. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you'd like a more formal demonstration, I can definitely do that as well. Have a good one.